morning, everyone. Welcome to Talking Horses. Anthony Stabile, Andy Serling, as we kick off another week here at Aqueduct Thursday. And you've already given like a full weather report. I mean, you actually had some like extra weather stuff for me when I came in. And
I did.
I felt that our conversation deteriorated even more quickly than normal, which is sort of depressing.
I thought it was, Saturday's supposed to be 55 degrees, and then
You know
low
what's
on
exciting
Sunday's
Saturday?
18.
You know what's exciting Saturday? The Sam Davis.
That's some race, isn't it?
Yeah, the Sam Davis at Tampa, which will be part of a cross-country Big Five, by the way, which will involve 5 stakes, actually. Our Gander's in there with 2 stakes from Tampa, 2 stakes from Oaklawn as well, as the Bayakoa is brought back from last week, along with the Razorback, 600,000 for the Razorback. The Nest will be, a lot of people's singles. She looks about 2 to 5 in that race. I'm not a huge fan of hers, but she seems to be better than that field.
That's Sam Davis.
Sam Davis,
is
there's
up.
like 8 horses that you feel like would win. It's a whole lot of horses that are hovering. I mean, none of them seem spectacular at this point. They're all sort of hovering around 80 buyers, but who does? No, I agree. It's right. You're absolutely right. I mean, I guess some will point to Messier, who ran at 103 buyer. He did it on a very, very biased racetrack where you saw a number of runners, particularly from Bob Baffert, with similar type trips, run shockingly big numbers. So I think we want to see that going forward. I'm not ready to declare him this year's life is good. Of course, he's not eligible for the Derby at this point anyway. But that'll probably something will change on that front, one way or the other. But he's the one horse I think he could step forward. I mean, a big figure, the Fountain of Youth, there's a difference of opinion on that figure. Buyer gave it a 97. Craig Wilkowski at Time Form. Yeah, Craig Wilkowski thought it was a much slower race. He liked
Craig of Time Form US.
Yeah, right, exactly, thank you. He liked Early Voting's race much more than Buyer did. There's debate on that one. I think, it's more of a trip discussion.
I'll tell you what's funny. Friends, fans, whatever, the reach out has been about early voting. It really hasn't been about Buyer.
It happened in New York, so I think that's more why people are talking about it. But
Make a great point.
He's a long, long way. I mean, the point is, as you say, they're all a long, long way from him.
They're all a long way.
This is a very good year for people to have Derby dreams with a horse that in a lot of years might not really seem at this point like he is pretty really likely to be effective, because it's very hard to say, that's my horse. You don't even, it's funny, you don't even hear that chatter. You don't really even hear that, I love so-and-so, which is good. People should keep an open mind, especially this year. I
think it's hard to really latch a wagon on anyone at this point.
Yeah. Right. The Risen Star will be interesting. Smile Happy.
They draw that yet?
Saturday. Well, they draw it Saturday. I mean, I love that about Fairgrounds.
Me too.
So that'll be drawn on Saturday, and it's a week from Saturday, and it's going to be Smile Happy.
If you have to get work
done,
it's great to have great to have everything.
Listen. I love Oaklawn's draw schedule, especially that's doing the shows. I mean, their schedule is great. They draw Friday.
The numbers and odds are on their PPs already.
Well, they draw their Friday card on Saturday. They draw their Saturday card on Monday. They draw their Sunday card on Tuesday. And for me, covering the races, it allows me to get that work done. It's not. I don't spend as much time on that. I spend a couple hours on the race we have to cover, but it's just nice. And I think they're smart to do it because it allows people a chance to look at those and to ask people to look at 6 different tracks in one day and give a chance for people to get sort of ahead of it and look at it. And especially at Oaklawn, where they're only running 3 days a week, and therefore there's extra time. And a good way to use extra time is to look at PPs, which is something a lot of us do. We had a lot of scratches on today's card that I thought were horses that could win. I mean, it was a fairly thin card coming in, and now it's considerably thinner. And I think one of the races it really affected right away was the first race, but we'll talk about that after you go over to Naira Betts. You didn't even remind me. You were ready to remind me. You were getting ready, but you held your tongue. That was very good. I'm impressed. Keep Anthony employed 200. And or bonus 200, really, whichever one fits for you. The shorter one is probably the better one, but magical things might happen if you put in that Keep Anthony Employed 200, $200. I won't make any suggest what they are, because at least one person will take me seriously. $200 will match with $200 of your initial deposit. We have a Turf Paradise and Aqueduct, 50 or more on each, and you get a $15 bonus. We've got 10 times points on exactas at Gulfstream all day today.
That's good on Wednesdays too, folks.
They ran 9 today. They ran 8 yesterday.
I think it's 9
The first
today.
8 race winter meet card I've ever seen. We're all champions. I think we can agree that we're all. The Aqueduct Championship meet is continuing. The Dubai Championship meet, the Turf Paradise Championship meet. We're all champions.
It's the World Cup Carnival.
Everyone's a champion. Anyway,
it's the Catalina wine mixer.
That's tomorrow. I don't know who's very big horse there. Test of the champion. Tickets are on sale for the Belmont.
Yes.
And
always a great day.
We capped attendance at 50,000. If I hear one horse player complain about this, I'm going to have to yell at them. this is for us. This is. I mean, it's a situation because of the size of the backyard. You just can't get all those people back there, and this is, and we're getting to a point where we're hoping to be able to use the infield, starting not this year or next year, but the year after that,
2024.
But it's simply a space issue, and
how amazing! I mean,
we had 11,000. We had nobody 2 years ago. 11,000 last year, and people are complaining we're only going to have 50
how
this year.
amazing will the infield at Belmont be?
I don't know. I won't be on it, so I'll never know.
You're not going to. You wouldn't even go just take a little look.
You're
a curious guy.
I've been on the infield of racetracks.
Yeah, I'm talking about just.
I like the infield of Saratoga. I like
Belmont.
the infield of Saratoga. Seeing the crowd and seeing everything.
I may or may not have been in the infield at Aqueduct on Saturday.
Big news.
Frozen tundra.
Big news. Big news. If you see something big running around the infield, it's Aqueduct.
I don't run.
Yeah, you make a great point. Anyway, race number 1. With the scratch of the number 6 near Sweet Me and a reduction to a 4-horse field, you're going to see Baba, I would think, be an overwhelming favorite in this race, but we'll get to Violent Point in a moment. Horse that I didn't like at all, but I guess their chances are increased as it's a smaller field. I actually, like you, thought that Baba was the better of the two because she made that earlier, wider move, and this was a day where you wanted to be inside, and Sweet Mia saved ground before angling out late, and I thought probably Baba ran as well, if not better, and might be a better price, but any value you might have gotten on that opinion is now gone.
Yeah, it's gone. I mean, obviously a 4-horse field now, and not as excited about this race as you were before the 2 scratches. Yeah, I would imagine Baba's going to be a short price now, and she should be. She has a little bit of a better body of work than what she's facing in here, I think, especially recently. Even her last effort against the track, you kind of feel like if she could repeat that race now with the scratches. I don't know where Violent Point's race came from last time. It was the first time she ran a race like that in a while.
I'll tell you, since Anthony doesn't care about racetrack trends and doesn't pay attention to horses' trips and races, I'll tell you how it happened. The time before that, she ran outside on a gold rail day, where the race even fell apart and the pace was so strong. Anthony doesn't know that because he picked Buston Bay second at 5-2, by the way, and he camped a gold rail and took advantage of the pace falling apart. And then last time got in a gold rail against a very sneaky field. So that's exactly where the last race came from.
Well, I'm saying, okay, so
well,
you know what?
You I'm
not going to.
I'm explaining what many people may know, but some may not,
Andy,
including you.
Andy, my point is.
What was your point?
25. I mean, you're telling me that those biases can account for 18. Wow.
You don't believe that?
That's a.
You know what? Time to start looking at those track trends.
That's a lot,
I can feel that you're like a year or 2 away to get on that computer and spend 5 minutes looking at track trends.
You don't feel like that's a lot, Andy?
No.
Wow.
I think that's the whole point of strong biases, and I'm sort of surprised that you don't realize that.
I realize it. I just don't know if I realize that it's 20 lengths. Because that's what it's basically telling you.
First of all, it's not 20 lengths. No, it's telling you it's about 10 lengths, but that's okay. It's telling you it's 2.4 points a length at 6 furlongs, so it's telling you it's about 10 to 11 lengths. But regardless, yeah, that's what biases do. You see horses getting 92 buyers that shouldn't be really getting better than a 74 buyer that are riding gold rails. And what happens when a horse gets a 15-point bump because of a big bias win and then goes against the bias and against the grain of the race? You might go 15 points the other direction. So yeah, biases have very, very extreme, influences on performances. At least I believe that. Now this race to me, I don't like Violent Point. It is worth noting though that I've never seen a racetrack change as demonstratively as it did on Sunday. It went from appearing to still being an outside track in the beginning on Sunday to being a gold rail late in the day. It was incredible. And
like the switch flip.
I'm not sure exactly why it keeps happening, and at some point, hopefully it does get addressed. And there's no question there have been difficult weather circumstances. But this is a little beyond the pale, and it needs to be addressed. So obviously on a big speed track, Violent Point becomes very dangerous. I don't like her. I think she is closer to a 60-ish buyer horse, 58 buyer. I might be good enough here. As far as Hydra, I don't know if she can run anymore. And there is an argument that her best form was for a trainer who was winning at over 30%. And she's kind of lost that form since she went away from that trainer. She is second off a layoff dropping. I liked her as an alternative. The problem is with the scratch of Sweet Mia and the lack of sort of alternatives. What am I going to get on her? 3-1 in this field, and I'm taking whatever prices that she can still run because I'm not a big fan of the 1 or 3, even though they're probably going to run 1-2 in some order. So I was going to take a shot. I'm going to have to get at least 9-2, and I doubt I'm going to get it.
It's hard to find 9-2 in this field,
especially in
right?
a 4-horse field where one of them, Starship Reina, is really hard to take.
Yes.
So it's come down to be at a 3.5-horse field at best. Race number 2. What did you do in race number 2?
I went to the bar. I went to Until Now.
Okay.
A little shot of price in here. First time Juan Vasquez, and basically this is kind of just the first time Juan Vasquez play combined with the fact that the rest of them really haven't been that fast. Now, I know she hasn't been that fast either. But I would also like to think, coming here, first time Vasquez, this is a filly who has shown speed in the past. It's kind of left her in the last couple of starts, but I would imagine going to the Vasquez barn and picking up an aggressive rider in Jackie Davis. I would imagine this horse is going to be forward.
Well, she's coming out of a 4.5 furlong race.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but even the Mountaineer race, she really hasn't been as forward as she had been in some of her.
Well, she's not as fast
races.
as a 3 and 4. She figures to be sitting probably third.
Right. Well, I'd like her to be a little bit more forward than she's been, and I would.
But why? What about?
I
this,
guess.
What about this race would suggest that she wouldn't be forward? I think you're sort of stating the obvious. She's going to be forward. I mean,
I like the rider. I like Jackie picking this horse up. And this is pretty much a trainer.
Who had this
play.
horse before?
Just picking this horse up.
Private purchase? Private purchase?
I do not know.
It's not a private. It's the same trainer. I didn't put the stat up for Juan Vasquez. He has horrifically bad numbers on trainer switches. He's 7 for 66, 11% and a 74-cent ROI. So I think this is, oh, I did put it up. Thank you. I thought this was actually meaningful, and I think a lot of people might see this switch, think, oh, it's going to Juan Vasquez. I know he's won a lot of races. He's also had a lot of horses that haven't run particularly well. I don't like this horse at all. I get it. You're going for a new situation. I don't like this horse even a little bit. I just think Polished Gem is probably going to win this race. I know that Linda Rice has a number of drop downs today. And yeah, you claim a horse for 25 and you run it for 14. That's a negative. But look at Linda's stats when she makes these significant drops. She just wins in these kind of situations. And this horse is going to be forward. We'll see how aggressive Gomez is on investment grade. And obviously, if he's super aggressive, that could affect him. But there really isn't that much pace in here, which probably helps your horse, too. I know this horse is a big favorite. I'm not trying to beat her. I thought the only other horse you might want is Adeline.
David has them close on the morning line, Rainbow Gal and Polished Gem, by the way.
Yeah, I don't get Rainbow Gal at all, and neither do you. We'll talk about her in a second. Let's show Adeline's last race. We'll show you the pan and head on. And she comes out of a fairly atrocious race. But as you're going to see in these two angles, she had some trip.
Yeah, she should have won this race, obviously. She gets affected the most by the drift of the second place finisher, who I thought won the photo originally. Yeah, like you said, though, I mean, just such a bad bunch. And I mean, the truth be told, she's been just as consistent as far as the figs go as Polished Gem. And you can see the head on here. She really gets. She's supposed to win this race. She's the best horse in here. No question about this. You'll see the second place finisher bothering the eventual winner, and now she's going to just.
Yeah, and caused a real chain reaction there. I don't think that she would have won, but she did have some trouble. I don't agree that her figs are. I think she's mostly not as good as Polished Gem. I think Polished Gem's a better horse than she is. Listen, Polished Gem is suspect. There's no doubt.
There's red flags all over the place.
No, I agree. She's suspect. And you almost wonder why Linda even dipped in and claimed this horse, frankly, off a 5-month layoff and a terrible performance at Saratoga.
It's a weird claim because it's three-year-old turn. It's a 3-year-old turning 4 at the end of the year.
Yeah, no, I agree.
The whole thing made very little sense.
Yeah, that's a good point. But she was in a 3-year-old and up race. But still, I mean, she wasn't. I don't think they were running. You don't run were they running conditionals for 3-year-olds at that point?
I don't know.
I don't think so. So, I mean, she was claimed for 43 back. She also chased outside on a day where the more you look at it, it may have been a real inside track, especially early in the day. So I do think she was a little bit against it. I thought they were the two worst in here. Boy, what am I supposed to like about Rainbow Gal?
Yeah,
I thought her win was total. I mean, obviously she could win in here. I mean, there are a limited number of options.
She tripped out in a win, right? She just sat off the speed and took over, and
she was 2-1 that day, and she beat Dom's Feisty Growl.
Off the big layoff, the claim gets voided.
Yeah, I thought she was atrocious last time. She was outside that day. That's a day where there's a lot of people who think the rail was bad that day. I'm not necessarily in that camp, but there is an argument you didn't want to be inside, so being wide that day didn't hurt her.
Took her almost 2 months to come back to the races after the void. Yeah.
I mean, listen, I'm not going to. I think you make a big stink and say this horse can't win in this race.
No,
you're probably
absolutely
crazy
not.
because
Polish Gem's probably, if Polish Gem runs one of 5 races she has on the card, she's going to win.
yeah, that's what I thought. But believe me, I'm not.
I took a little shot against her at a big price.
I didn't see your horse, but hey, have at it. She's a big price. Race number 3. You've got 2 imperfect horses here. You've got a substantial drop down on Barista Vixen, and you've got a drop down on My Girl Lexi as the Linda Rice drop downs continue. The thing about My Girl Lexi is I actually thought she ran well last time. She chased a pace outside where you may want to have been inside that day, but also it was a race that fell apart. And she ran the best of anybody that was forwardly placed, and Exotic West's Bennett Campaign are better than these horses. So drop down or not, and I'm not endorsing short prices on big drop downs, I'd rather have her than Barista Vixen, whose form I don't particularly like, and I don't like the fact that Danny kept shipping her down to Parks. You know?
Fair
I just
point.
don't like that.
That's a fair point.
I mean, obviously she's the other horse. I'm not an idiot.
And it's obvious.
I am an idiot, but that's...
It's cut bait time, right?
Yeah, they're both looking to move on. I mean, it's,
cut bait time.
People,
Flip a coin. You can almost you can look at it both ways, right? You don't like the fact that he was shipping this horse to Parks, but kind of protecting her a little bit to run her in the starters, and now he's kind of exhausted. He's probably exhausted trying the starters and just saying, you know what?
They're both admitting they made bad claims.
I made a bad claim. Let's go. Linda the same thing.
Somebody else can move on with this horse.
And my problem with My Girl Lexi has been, of course, you know, and I've said this, these Linda claims at church. These Linda claims at Churchill Downs have not gone that well.
No, but this horse did run well.
She did.
This horse actually did run okay.
But doesn't it bother you that now she's in for the 10?
Yes. No,
right?
that's fair. That's fair. You could argue, even though, you know, figures are somewhat comparable, at least the 3 is dropping off a terrible performance, where she's dropping off not a bad performance.
And the 3's dropping off a
maybe a
series
performance that looks better, that looks worse than it is.
A series of trips down the Jersey Turnpike.
Yeah.
Right? All right, finally, you know what? I'm not shipping her no more. Here, she's in for 10. You want to take her.
Anthony, you're an educated and learned man. I'm not shipping her anymore.
So I said, I'm not shipping her
You
anymore.
said no more.
No, I said anymore.
There's no chance you said anymore. I'll bet you all 99 lunches now.
The same chance
I'll bet
there wasn't that you said kitty?
I don't care about that. I will bet you all 99 lunches you said no more.
You're adamant about
I'm
this.
100% correct.
Right.
I expect better from you.
I
don't want you to play into that whole thing. You're a smart guy.
I thought I said
Think of
any.
the kids that are watching at home. You're teaching them
Kids
bad
should
habits.
be at school, Andy.
And the problem with this race, with the scratch of Indian Bella, is there's probably a class. There's probably classes watching the show. It's an educational show.
There's a class, all right, watching
Indian
the
Bella
show.
out of this race, who the heck else can you take? I scratched into Veradia for 3rd. She's dropping too.
Right.
Her form is
Veradia
atrocious.
and Whispering Rosie.
Yeah,
Whispering Rose.
no, I hear you. It's just limited option. Starts the pick 6. Whenever the pick 6 looks easy, it'll probably be 7
Carry over for 11 days in a row.
before $60 horses.
Right.
Race number 4 before we take a break. Why would anybody take the 5 in this race as the favorite, Anthony?
I can't. Do you think this horse is going to be the favorite? See, I thought Wahil would easily be the favorite.
I think this horse is going to be the favorite.
Wow. I thought the Bruce Levine Firster or Wahil would be the favorite.
Well, a Firster could be favored, though I'm skeptical. But they could be. But this horse had a very good trip
drop.
in a wicked pace race and went backwards.
Yeah, it's just the drop, Andy. I mean,
But she didn't do any running.
He didn't do any running. You're not wrong. It was just the drop. I've seen enough of these maiden races here the last 8 weeks where these drops have been enough.
You're
right. And listen,
what percentage of Jimmy Ryerson's horses do you think you've picked?
80%.
Yeah, it's sort of embarrassing at this point. I mean, Jimmy's a very nice guy.
80%. I probably should have taken a first-time starter, but I didn't really hear anything on any of these horses. Not that you expect to hear anything on $25,000.
Oh, you don't worry. You'll have heard tips on every horse in this race by the time you stretch your legs wherever you're heading.
Going back to my office.
The pedigree in this race is the one, Joe Gonzalez. Joe Gonzalez is a full 2. You had 4. We drew this card, Anthony, on Saturday. You had 3 days off, and you didn't look up the pedigrees on first-time starters. There was so much work to do on this race.
Hit me.
I'll tell you guys on Twitter. I can't.
I can see you on Twitter.
Well, I'll tell you on Twitter. There's a full dark money. Well, do the pedigree work, Anthony. There's not that much going on.
What?
Don't give me
You and I look at things differently.
It doesn't matter. Do the pedigree work.
You and I look at things differently.
Do the pedigree work. Don't make excuses.
You and I look at things
we do look
differently.
at things differently.
I wouldn't
One of us does
mention
work
dark
and the other
money.
doesn't.
I wouldn't do dark. Andy, listen.
Anthony,
You're gonna
look
have
at the
to cut it.
pedigrees.
You're gonna have to cut it out.
Look up the
You're gonna have to cut it
pedigrees.
out.
Look up the pedigrees. Don't give me this wheel.
I'm not going to.
You look up pedigrees on turf.
Dark money is not the. Dark money is not going to ring off bells. I mean, he's a nice claiming horse, but is he somebody to mention in a $25,000 maiden claiming race?
Yes, Anthony.
I guess
As a matter
that's
of fact,
fine.
Yes,
that's
Anthony,
fine.
he is.
Okay.
He actually is.
Okay.
And being that you said you don't think there's much in this field,
There's not.
Why not look up the pedigrees in the first
There's
turn?
not.
The damn, was there so much going on that you
No,
didn't have
there's
3
not.
minutes? It took me
There's not.
45 seconds to do this
There's
pedigree
not.
work. 45 seconds, maybe. Come on. The dam of the one was okay. She ran 70 miles. The dam of the 2 was actually okay.
Dam of the
but
2 was
she's-
was that a dub horse? I think she was a
can't-
dub horse.
I can't read my writing, but there's a B somewhere.
Yeah, that's the end. The 2 B's for dub.
No. You make a great point. One of the 5 foals could run. From a production standpoint, at least, the dam produced Dark Money, and it was a foal. There were 2 bad horses besides Dark Money in there. I think Wahil is just way the horse to beat. You look up the race we'll take a look at here. I actually think she ran well in this race. She didn't break. The winner came back to run 4 buyer points better. And I mean, I just think she ran well. She ran a 52 buyer. The figure looks legitimate. She runs back to this race. I think she has a silver barrel unless one of the firsters can run.
You will maybe poo-poo this, but I will tell you this. I remember watching the race on New Year's Day. She just at no point handled that racetrack, and the jock Worry kind of protected
seems like
her.
that's the case.
Yeah, kind of just protected
And though she was also
her.
running against horses that are pretty good.
No,
at least the winner.
right. If you're like me and you're like he's got a short fuse, you have to like him dropping as well. But I can tell you right now, like you watch that race, you could just tell that's a horse that when the gate opened, Worry probably knew I'm getting nothing today in the last 3/16 of a mile, just kind of protected
I
him.
just thought this horse was super logical.
Yeah.
That completes the first. This starts the pick 5, by the way. The late pick 4 afterwards. Anthony's going to look up some pedigrees. We'll be right back.
None left.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit nairabets.com.
We are back. Race number 5. Race number 5, there is a scratch. There's a big scratch at race number 5. Because Fleet Warrior, whether you liked him or not is irrelevant.
It was the speed.
He was at least one of the speeds in here, though the 2,
Longren 2.
Longren 2, you're the announcer here. I can defer to you.
Calling a late double today.
Oh, excited. You're also calling a day in March or January?
Calling a late double today, early double tomorrow, and then President's Day.
Okay.
We may have a similar opening to. No, never mind.
I like that. We steal that for a day. I like that. It's a good
They're
call.
going to paint my face on Mount Rushmore on President's Day.
So let's take a look at Anthony's top choice and my second choice, Grand Cacique. This is the race that Irad primarily got the days for, right? This is the race where he dropped. Who did he drop?
Omar Hernandez
Did
Moreno.
you read that Louis Cardenas is galloping horse again?
I
by the
saw
way?
him. I had to make a quick stop at Belmont yesterday morning. I actually saw him getting on one for Rudy.
Yeah, that's great. Great to hear. Looking forward to getting back. Dave Grenig had written about that. He was hoping to be back within a month. I mean, he's one of the ones that can win, but he's another one. Claimed for 16, running for 10. And I don't know. I get it.
Scratch helps him a little bit, right? I mean,
Well, it
he's
helps
not
all
going
the
to
horses
as
like the
fast
3.
as some of the other speeds, but
it probably does. But well, I don't know. I mean, I guess it helps him because it takes out a speed that was unlikely to win. So it helps a tertiary speed more than it helps the closers, who are obviously hindered. I'm not really sure who the deep closers were supposed to take. I mean, Cool Quartet's a little tough to like. I guess Tail of Mist. Taylor Mist actually put himself into the race last time.
I haven't seen him that close in years. And
he looked like a winner every step of the way.
Sammy Camacho, who's riding him back today, gave him a fantastic ride. You know, it wasn't like it wasn't one of those like 47 and change half mile. We say, all right, Taylor Mist is laying 3.
Four horses were involved in the race. We'll get to that when we talk about my horse. No, I agree.
There was a good pace, and he ran it.
Just got a text from his former agent, Sammy Camacho's former agent. Winston.
Saw him yesterday too.
Yeah, he's back at the track.
I saw Winston.
New knee
I
and
saw
all.
Sammy with his former and current agent.
Wow. Is Winston looking to move back in, you think?
I don't know. Winston couldn't pass the vet right now, I can tell you that. Showed me the knee. He could not pass the vet.
He's got a new knee. He's going to get a new body part one at a time.
He's going to be the Terminator.
But you know, you made this point the other day, and it's not an invalid point. It's not exactly a barn that you totally trust to run back-to-back races, and when you have a horse that just won its seventh time as a 9-year-old, it's not exactly a horse that you can be too confident runs the same races, and with the scratch of the 2, it hurts him. But he did run last time, and we'll actually show that race.
Half brother to my favorite horse of all time.
Tail of Acadi?
Tonalist.
Oh, he's a half the tonalist. That's right. I knew that was a Desire's Tail of Acadi. That would be scary. Not horse racing, so he did run. But I feel like Mitre Porciento ran better because he was attacking the pace 4 wide the whole way. And I know that Mitre Porciento's in a new barn. I get all that. There are a lot of incidentals here which aren't necessarily positive, though I do think Jimmy's a good trainer. I'm not familiar with this rider. He was against the track 2 back when he was wide, and I think his form looks worse, Mitre Porciento's, than it actually is. I don't love
the kid that was here. Is this the kid that was here last winter with the bug?
I can't remember.
I think it is.
And bad, good, and different.
No, he was fine.
Okay. Okay, I'll have much opinion. Boy, a lot of riders gone this weekend down at Tampa, huh? It's funny looking at the mounts.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
he was okay. I wasn't going to not bet on a horse that he was riding.
I'm like brain dead. I have no memory of this.
Yeah, he has. I want to say, within the last like 18 months,
I'm sure you're right.
Had the bug
You're almost always right on those things. They're all flawed horses. Your horse is flawed. Mm-hmm. At least my horse is a better price than yours, and I don't have a problem with him. I guess the wise guy horse in here is Summer Bourbon, right? I mean, he's a little interesting. He was a little bit against the track last time. He was 2 to 3 wide. That was a super souped up rail. The problem is, where's his good race? I guess it's 3-4 back, and they're close enough, and he's dropping. So I think he's the interesting prices in here. I'm going to use the 1, 3, 4 and hope that I get the bigger prices in.
Okay.
I mean, I don't really have a lot. I just don't want Dream Bigger. I mean, is Dream Bigger really going to be the second choice in here?
I didn't know. I didn't know what to do. I almost picked. I almost got goofy with the 6. And then I just decided that the Finger
What about
Lakes
Dream? Let's get a Dream Bigger. We'll get the 6.
Yeah. Well,
Dream Bigger got and I bet him 2 back, and he was a very fortunate winner
he
that
got
day,
lucky.
coming up a good
Hopefully
rail.
inside,
yeah, I mean,
look
that
who it
was
is, Dark Money.
Yeah.
He came up the inside. Dark Money was in a 4-path.
Dark Money is a very forgettable horse, and nobody should care about Dark Money. Poor Dark Money.
Poor Dark Money.
The day hasn't even started, and you've disrespected him. You should be ashamed of yourself. Look at you. You are. You're ashamed. I can tell. I know the ashamed of yourself.
He had such a fortunate trip, but again, who do you really trust in here? That's why I thought for a long, hard minute about putting Cool Quartet on top, but
Cool Quartet,
the number 6, he did so little running last time.
He was also on the rail last time.
Did little
and that's
running.
my problem. He never left the rail. I gave him a long look too. I said, I'll give anybody a look in this race. Because
see that kid on him, Kevin Navarro? That kid's an underrated rider. That kid should be getting more opportunity.
No, he's showing it on his 0 for 16, 3/3.
He should be getting more opportunity. He's a good rider. He does a good job up Finger Lakes.
Maybe he needs you as an agent.
I have enough things going on.
So much that he couldn't even look up pedigrees in race number 4. Yeah. Race number 6, I'm very disappointed in Mike Trombetta in this race. Mike.
Why?
Because I picked this horse and I wanted to bet on him.
Oh.
So I am extremely disappointed.
Probably saw the picks and scratched.
Make a great point. Another great point in today's card. Essentially, this is a 3 or 4 horse field in here. We'll start with Chris and Dave in 235.
This is like a mishmash of a bring back, right? Or no?
Don't remember. There have been so many cancellations and races. You're probably right. It seems like you're right. No, because Plot the Dots hadn't been entered before.
Right, no, Plot the Dots
I don't know
wasn't,
if
yeah.
Ruby Blue will get who's there. This is 232 losing to Chris and Dave. 4 starts back for him and 2 for Chris and Dave. I mean, don't you feel like Chris and Dave? I mean, I picked the 5, so none of us like scratching into a horse. But isn't he in a position to lead this field in a Mary Chase?
Yeah. Yeah, he absolutely is.
232, though, did run well last time to be second to Hammer and Hammer. It was in very good form. He was just over his head the other day.
Yeah. No, I mean, Chris and Dave is as dangerous as it gets in here.
And 235's fine off his last race. Mile and an eighth, well, he's run fast enough in a mile and an eighth that I'm not overly concerned about it, you know? I mean, he's running some tougher spots.
That was my biggest issue with Chris and Dave. My biggest issue with Chris and Dave is he has good form over at Belmont, going the mile and the 16th in the mile, and it just kind of feels like that mile and an eighth.
Well, his race in Saratoga's good enough to win here. I mean, he lost to a horse that was one of the most ridiculous performances in the entire meet that day. He ran like he should have won the Woodward.
Well, he got his Lasix back that day, yeah. But
oh, yeah, he was getting the Lasix back.
You're right.
How did he run his next
but
time?
Hey, locally owned came back and won the...
on a gold rail.
Won the Grand Prix.
On the gold rail.
Yeah, but he still beat still beat Lone Rock.
Yeah,
and
I don't think his race is that bad. And who's he running against here? You know, and my problem with your horse Air Attack is.
Oh, I'm betting. Listen, Air Attack is simply. This is very simple. This horse ran once for Rob Actress. He ran a 105 by a speed figure. He came back off 2 weeks in our claiming round, our starter claiming day, and ran basically off 2 weeks, all kind of off Rob's training, and ran a 97. And then it was bye-bye Air Attack. So this is very simply, I picked this horse the last time he was entered. That's why
You're right. Yes, you're right.
Picked him the last time.
He was entered. I'm not sure who exactly was in the field.
Me either. This is strictly a back to Rob Actress.
Here's my problem. What price is he going to be here? He's not going to be 6 to 1. It's not right there. Sniff 6 to 1.
So
David's got the same price as Battalion. There's zero chance he's the same price.
There's no chance that's happening.
There's absolutely zero. Whatever price Battalion is, he's going to be half of it.
I don't know if you can move the money around because it's kind of hard to make the 1 and the 7.
Bet the other day? We had an odds bet. My friend Steve watched it. Yeah, so we broke. I don't remember if they won lunch or not because you were up 1.
They were both 1. They were both 1 lunch bets on the last day we bet lunch.
No, but you won a 2 luncher when your horse came up the gold rail and beat my horse to the wire doing no running.
Oh.
So I won for 1, I lost for 2, and I won. So if it was a 1 lunch bet, we're even. So it's still up to 100. Okay, I knew there was another bet. Steve, he's my official score.
Yeah, I think I was getting blown out in that bet.
You were.
I can't remember what it was.
But the gold rail saved you. That's my.
He's going to be 3 to 1.
That's my problem. I get your thinking, and look, I've got him second. Obviously, I don't disagree with you. Your points are all very well taken. I totally get it. This horse's recent form. I mean, so we're hoping that Rob, and then he has had 2 months, but.
And the truth of the matter is, I know the last 2 races are bad. I do. I know they are.
They're
atrocious, right? But he really wasn't coming in off great form when Rob took him the first time.
Well,
better form than this, no question about it.
No, but you're right. But somehow that was one of the crazy. I didn't look it up. That must have been a gold. Well, no, he wasn't even on the rail. Oh, maybe he was. I didn't even look up to see if that was a bias-aided attempt. But yeah, I like him if he runs that race. Even a virtual semblance of it, he'll win. What about the 7 Ruby Blue? I mean, Ruby Blue. What? Oh, it was on the odds. Yeah, I got it. Okay. So, here's Ruby Blue. This is the last time. Why is this horse impossible?
No.
Let me put it this way. This horse is 12 to 1 on the line in the race, and we'll get to Battalion.
This horse won't be 12 to 1.
Yeah, I mean, Battalion 6 to 1. Nobody's going to believe Battalion off that ridiculous sloppy track race for 10, right? And this horse is running the same kind of figures, albeit out of town, but against better horses, right?
They have to be the same price, right?
You would think. I mean, listen, I respect David enough to say if he's got one half the price of the other, we're probably both wrong. But I don't see that.
And I would imagine Ruby Blue I can't imagine Ruby Blue's going to be that far
Penny
off
Pierce is Greg Wolf's favorite trainer.
Really?
Well, he had great data on the Penny Pierce,
huh.
The family affair. Yeah, I don't love the horse, but I didn't think this horse was totally impossible in here.
No.
3 to 5 on Baba now, by the way.
Wow.
All right, we got to move on. Race number 7.
We run out of time today. We're the worst.
Well, we started very late.
Oh, we did.
We actually started almost 10 minutes late. So first of all, we are the worst. So let's begin with the premise of worse than the worst, worse than we thought. Okay, let's just put everything into perspective. David's thinking on the shorter price of Battalion, which is interesting, is that because Liscano's riding that one instead of Chris and Dave for Linda. That's an interesting perspective.
Okay. Fair point.
He has to look at riders in ways that I don't.
Right.
I mean, to be fair, I just don't really look, and that is actually an interesting point. That's why he's a good morning line maker, and I'm the worst. So what are we doing here? Water's Edge. Water's Edge and no salt. Okay. I don't love either one of these horses. I don't trust either one of them to get the distance. I think both of their last races, particularly Water's Edge, where both of them are dressed up, as this race sort of just fell apart at the end, except there was nobody to come calling from behind. I don't want to interrupt you. I know you're busy.
Go ahead.
I just have trouble getting the distance. And with the presence of there's a storm brewing, Water's Edge is probably going to have some company towards the front end. And I don't know. And the problem is, I don't want to take a horse that has basically been eased in 2 dirt starts that's very possibly going to be favored off of synthetic track.
He's going to be
form.
favored.
And that's the problem. And I get him. I was going to pick him. But he's going to be favored, and it's off of synthetic form. There is a possibility that he can't handle the dirt at all. Oh, I want that bobblehead.
Well, so
I don't want the guy in it, but
I'll say two things about the dirt races. One was the bluegrass.
Yeah.
And then he disappeared for 6 months.
But Anthony,
And the first was his debut.
I get it, but there's still atrocious races.
I don't listen.
It is possible this horse can't handle the dirt.
It absolutely is.
And he's going to be favored. I mean, all those are true. I
is.
get it. I picked him second. I wouldn't not use him.
I decided to leave it alone. But after the scratches, I really thought about putting There's a Storm Brewing on top because he doesn't have to deal with Blewett anymore.
But he's not any good.
But he's
not good
not
enough.
fast.
Not good enough to be Water's Edge.
Not fast enough.
He beat a very,
Right.
very,
He
very,
beat a
very,
weak
very
bunch
weak
last
field
time
last time.
under ideal circumstances.
Right, I mean,
Just
that
getting
field
in front
was-
just led them on a merry chase.
nothing
Yeah.
in that race.
I know. But I don't trust this horse either. But I feel confident he's
But you
getting
picked
the
him
9.
fourth in a 5-horse field.
No, I'm talking about Hush of a Storm. He's getting the 9 furlongs. I don't know if the other 2 are. I don't know if No Salt
Well, he ran
is.
9 furlongs once, and he lost by 24 lengths.
That's the blue. I'm not going to concern myself with the bluegrass. The mile and the Battaglia. He was doing all the running late when he won the Battaglia. I bet on him that night. He survived a 15-minute inquiry.
Got a little lucky that day.
He got a little lucky, but he was finishing up.
But we're going to have to move on. It still denies the point. It's not. You're right about all those things. But
he's going to be the
still
chalk,
a
and his 2 dirt
that
races
we
are
don't know
stinkeroos.
if he can handle a dirt track.
Yeah.
And he's for a trainer. His horses are running extraordinarily well. The 8th race, which we've left 3 minutes for, but are you doing the changes after the show?
Johnny is.
Because then we would just cut badly into it. We'll look at Bell Tapisseri. I'm really off my game here today.
Okay.
So I was looking at pedigree, so I didn't have time to
Right,
get my,
I figured. That's all 2 of them.
French better. I know ran second last time as the favorite, and I know it's another one of these Churchill claims, and Linda's even agreeing with you here. She's saying my Churchill claims stink, and I think it's the last time you'll see her assaulting Churchill for a claiming spree. This horse is in a position, though, to lead this field on a merry chase, and
absolutely,
she's the horse to beat. But you and I have tried to beat her with the same horse. Why do you like Speeding Kid?
I would.
Him with the same horse.
Yeah, I thought this horse. I didn't mind that field last time. I thought, I mean, if you were to take Bell Tapisseri out of here, right? The field he ran against last time was like a Kona Gold Breeders' Cup sprint compared to these horses.
Well, there's 2 horses coming out of it. He lost by 10 lengths. He was 2 or 3 wide. It was a wild Super Gold rail. Next Flight lost by 13 3/4 lengths and was 3 to 4 wide. I don't think you can use one without using the other. And you don't disagree. You've got him first and third.
Yeah.
I think the idea is you
Blinkers
probably
on,
want to
Blinkers
take...
on Next Flight, by the way.
Well, if I had known that.
I'm just letting you know.
Eddie down in Florida. I hate to say it.
He is.
And I wish him the best with Sensational. He's not in my top 8.
I think he's a nice horse. I mean,
I think he's a neat horse too. I don't think he's getting the distance. I think he probably wants a little
It's
less.
Eddie's luck that's the Sam Davis. He's got to run it.
Sam Davis as we've seen, and that's it. I know. Yeah. Well, at least it's warm down there. I hope he's spending some time.
We
there.
know why.
I mean, winning drive's not impossible in here, and the drop down either, right? Don't you want to use that horse a
No,
little
I
bit?
mean, I guess. I got him fourth.
I would, if I was alive, I want to be alive to 3, 4, 5, and 8, and hope the 5 loses.
In the perfect world, yes.
Yeah, I mean,
for
that's
those 4 horses.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm not.
If you have those 4 horses and you get beat, it's just not your day.
Or your year, or your week, your month, your year. But we're having you back in action.
Sure.
And
Weather's going to be great this weekend.
I heard that. You know, somebody told me it's supposed to be 55 on Saturday.
55 Saturday, and then the low Sunday's 18. So.
Yeah, I saw it's getting. Well, that's at night though. But
Yes.
But it's going to. Yeah,
I'm
Mondays.
You're up at all hours like me, so.
Monday's going to be cold.
Just not
in case you're
outside.
wondering.
Monday's
I
going
didn't
to be cold.
notice that.
Yeah, Monday's going to be cold.
Yeah, Monday's my lunch day. Monday's like a busy day, busy social day for me.
Valentine's Day.
Oh, that's an important day.
Keep an
You
eye-
know what's even more important than Valentine's Day?
Yeah.
The French Film Festival goes on sale on Tuesday to members.
Not Valentine's Day.
That's the most important day of the year. Great. The festival looks great this
Andy,
year.
the most important day of the year for ticket sales is today.
Oh yeah, Belmont Stakes tickets. Speaking of which, head on over to NiraBets.com. Keep Anthony employed. Deposit match. We'll match for $200 your initial deposit. Stay in the game. Keep us in the game. Be in the game. Play through NiraBets. We got a 20-20 with a $15 bonus, a 50-50 or more, with Aqueduct and Anthony's favorite track, Turf Paradise. I wouldn't mind being in Arizona.
Former home of the late great Luke Krybosh.
That's correct. That's right. 10 times points on Gulfstream Park exactas throughout the day. That's the view they show when you're watching races. Dubai World, I don't think that's made on. Do you think that's made on? That does not look like made on to me. I don't think they have the crooked rail.
That's the
on
big A,
outside.
baby.
Yeah, it looks like the big A to me. And that's tomorrow morning.
That's essential
9:30
quality.
post. Yeah. Hot Rod Charlie getting no respect. Where's he? He's buried somewhere.
He's a length and a quarter back.
How
That's past the
bummed
wire.
are you that you're not in the parking lot for the Eclipse Awards tonight?
We don't have any time.
I said
when you were talking about the 2-year-olds turned 3-year-olds earlier, that's what I mean. Like, Cornishi's going to go win the Eclipse Award tonight, and
Who knows where he is? He's in the witness protection
Yeah.
program at this point. And my friend Gabby Gaudette's getting back to work today. Her first work. She's doing the
4 gals are
she's
hosting
working
tonight, right?
on the Eclipse Awards with all good friends of ours. With Acacia's there, and Michelle is there, and Brittany as well.
Yep.
I said to Gabby, it's a very auspicious beginning for you. I saw texting you the other day. You're returning in a parking lot. Anyhow, that's all we got. Belmont Stakes seats.
I'm usually in the parking lot anyway.
On that note, Johnny I, not the big ace to Beal, is up next with a reprise of the scratch. But this will be the first time they're done correctly. The scratches and changes.
Hello, racing fans, and once again, welcome to Aqueduct. A very mild February day with the temperature around 50 degrees.